Hi, everyone. My name is Dan Wendell, and I am the co author of a recently released book called The Spending Window: How Intermittent Spending Can Improve Your Finances. And this is a podcast about that very book. We're going to be talking about the book, what a spending window is, what is intermittent spending, and to help me with that, I'm going to bring in my co author and my friend, Angelo DeRosalia. He's going to join us shortly, but before we start that, we're going to first play a quick video on the spending window.
The spending window is part of a broader strategy designed to control spending. It is a critical piece of an intermittent spending strategy. Intermittent spending is a process by which people use time limits to control when they spend money. Spending is limited to a particular time frame. This also means that no spending is allowed outside of your window. Each window is customized by the individual, which means you set the time or times that you are going to spend or not spend. Windows can be designed in many different sizes and can be designed to fit individual lifestyles. Popular window designs include 8 hours per day, every other day, and only weekends. Once created, a window is not set in stone. It may be adjusted based on your individual needs. People learn and adjust from using a window. While a window needs to be flexible, at the same time, it needs to be strict enough to provide value. The ideal window will force the owner to stretch and change behavior and increase their level of spending awareness. Keep in mind the purpose of a spending window is to change behavior and force you to focus on when you are spending rather than on what you are spending. A spending window is not a budgeting template. It is designed to be different than the traditional strategies for controlling spending. If used correctly, a properly designed spending window can drastically change your spending behaviors and attitudes. If you're wondering if a spending window can help you, the first step is to begin thinking about what your window would look like. To learn more about how to create a spending window and what is working for other people like you, head to spendingwindow.com. Watch videos, listen to podcasts, and read more about how intermittent spending can improve your financial life.
Well, I got the co-author Angelo here to join us. Angelo, we just watched a quick video on intermittent spending and the spending window. Thanks for joining me. I'm excited about this. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Dan. It's great to be here. Great to start our journey, helping others through the spending window and learn about intermittent spending.
Well, I thought what we could do before we talk about what this podcast is going to be about and get into more details, I thought it would be useful for people to know how we came up with this idea, because I find it a fascinating concept. That's why we wrote the book. It works. We've tried it. We've seen stories. But do you remember when this all first started?
Sure, absolutely. We were talking, as we often do, about life in general and finances, and you are immersed in finances and helping others at all times. And we were talking about how financial health is something that always needs to be improved, just like your physical health. And the financial field is so robust, but if it's so heavily weighted on the saving side and the planning for retirement side and the budgeting side. And when we started to delve deeper into some of that, we almost compared a budget to like a diet. And everybody knows what it feels like to diet and how you start off so strong and great right out of the gate, and you have a budget and you could stick to it for a certain period of time, and then inevitably something happens and you get derailed, and you may not only lose all the benefits that you gained during that strict budgeting period, but you may wind up worse than when you started. And we were talking about this, and you were sharing some of the stories about some of your clients and some of the obstacles that they face, and we started to compare it to intermittent fasting and mindfulness, how a lifestyle change can lead to the longer lasting results. And that lifestyle change might be able to work a little bit more on the spending side rather than the saving side. And let's be honest, we do a lot better job spending than we do saving. We certainly spend more money. It feels like we spend more money than we save. And it's clearly an opportunity that we can work on. And that's kind of how this book started off.
And I remember you asked me about, you put a client to me. You said, which client would you rather have? Someone with $10 million with complete out of control life, or someone with $50,000 that's in complete control of their life? And I took it a step further and said, well, if someone is in complete control of their spending, and that's when we started talking about spending control and how important it is. And then you're right. I do recall us comparing it to intermittent fasting, because we talked about how difficult it is to count calories. No one wants to do that. I said it's almost as bad as budgeting, because no one wants to count their budget to the penny. And we thought, well, why is intermittent spending, or intermittent fasting rather, so easy? It's because it's a very simplistic concept, and it's a lot easier to manage than a true traditional budget. And I kind of think we just went with it and really started exploring it and seeing how it applied in real life. And lo and behold, that's where the book came about.
Absolutely. And it's an exciting topic. It's something that applies to everyone, whether you're 5 years old or 95 years old. You always have to think about how everyone's always spending money, and they're spending money on certain things, and maybe they should spend it a little less, or spend it in a different way than they do. And there's always an opportunity for improvement. Diet is like a 4-letter word, and it almost seems like save is like a 4-letter word sometimes to us. Not easy to do, but when we talk about the spending side, your financial health can change so much. And with that, you're going to see an improvement in your mindset, improvement in your mental health, improvement in your overall happiness.
And you are a big proponent of mindfulness as an executive in the healthcare industry. You've seen it all, and you know the power of being mindful, how powerful that could be on the body, but also on the mind and spirit. And I think this book tries to encapsulate that. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not going to teach you how to invest, what to buy, what not to buy. It's really very, very focused on being mindful about one thing, and that's spending. And if you could control your spending, you could really control your life. And to help with that, we created a program that allows people to focus on very specific windows. And that's what we call the book, Spending Window. So what I want to do is show a quick video on the concept of windows, what a spending window is. And then we'll come back and talk about what we're going to do with this podcast going forward and some of the cool ideas that we have for it.
Is intermittent spending. Intermittent spending is a behavioral strategy in which spending occurs only during certain time frames or spending windows. It was born from the practice of intermittent fasting, in which a person doesn't eat during a period of time in order to improve their health and well-being. While intermittent spending may not directly impact your physical health, it can greatly impact your financial health. With intermittent spending, the goal is to use time constraints to cause a shift in your spending behavior. This shift or disruption is designed to lead to more awareness of your spending behavior and emotions. In both intermittent fasting and intermittent spending, the focus is on when rather than on what. The overall goal of intermittent spending is to eliminate mindless spending, which so many of us fall victim to throughout life. Much like a food fast, a spending fast can enhance your control over your personal situation and lead to positive changes to your behavior over time. If you want to know if intermittent spending is right for you, or for more information, just visit spendingwindow.com.
So there we have it. I like that picture of the kids and the parent on the beach in a Zen pose, being very mindful of their spending. That is the ideal outcome that we're hoping people get after reading this book. But even some of the individual chapters, which we will go over in this podcast over time, really provide some golden nuggets of insight on how to gain control of your spending and your financial life. So we're going to be talking about this concept in detail in this podcast. We're going to have a bunch of different types of people on. We're going to have Q&A, hopefully go live and get some people to ask questions. We're going to bring on guests and show more videos and tips and tricks. I'll probably even go over certain chapters that we wanted to delve a little more deeper in that we didn't get a chance to do that. So I'm pretty excited about it. Angelo, if you had to pick one topic or one piece of the podcast going forward that you're most excited about, what do you think it would be?
Who benefits from the spending window? Whether you make $1,000 a year or $1 million a year, you can benefit from mindfulness in your spending life and with your spending habits. That I'm excited to show everyone how this will benefit you. No matter whether you're, again, a year from retirement or 50 years from retirement, this is going to help you. And I can't wait to show everyone those benefits.
Yeah, and I think that having those stories is my biggest exciting part of this. I think if we're going to have some quality guests come on and talk about not only their experiences, but also maybe some of their insight as to how it's working in their life or how they see it in others' lives. They might have experience doing it themselves. They might be a professional that uses it on their clients. I think there's going to be a lot of insight through this podcast. I'm really looking forward to it. So for the listeners out there, stay tuned. Go to the Spending Window website, which is spendingwindow.com. You can sign up for the YouTube videos. We're going to go live on Facebook. We're going to have more discussions on that. And if you have a question, if you read the book, which you can get on Amazon, or go to spendingwindow.com and download it, if you read that book and you have a specific question, you can email us, contact us through the website, and we will answer you. Especially now that we're doing this podcast, we'll feature your question online, and we'd love to hear from you. So let us know. And Angelo, thanks for me on the. I really enjoyed writing the book with you. The listeners may not know, but you and I go way back. We've been friends since childhood, so this was really a great experience for us, at least from my perspective. I don't know about yours.
Absolutely, Dan. I'm looking forward to this journey we're going to take, and I can't wait to get in touch with all of our listeners and our viewers out there.
All right, everyone, stay tuned for the next episode of the podcast, The Spending Window.